homework we did was on paragraph formatting. Today we're continuing with that. So if you remember the last homework, we did a lot with how to set tabs and in the dialog box. Today we're going to look at the paragraph groups themselves. So when you have the paragraph group, the first thing you'll notice is setting bullets. Now most of you know how to set a bullet. You highlight what you want to bullet, or you set your bullet, then type it in, and you just click here and you create a bullet. But what you may not realize is you can define a new bullet. You click the down arrow by bullets, you can go into symbol, and you can pick one of the symbols. There are different ways you can look. You can choose a different style font. You can even type in, if you know the code of the number you're looking for, you can type it in and it will pick that one. Now you've got a bullet. You can go into font. You can define it by color or size. You can make it bigger. You can give it a different color. So there's our bullets. If you want to change it and you forgot to do it when you created it, you can simply highlight it. So what you're going to do is click on the bullets so that they're all grayed out, and you can go in and change the size of them. You also can change the color. Another way to create your own special type of bullet is to go in, define new bullet again, and you can click picture. When you get to picture, you can type in what you're looking for. Click OK, and now you have your heart bullet. Again, you have the option of making them smaller or bigger by changing the font size. They just need to be grayed. Next to it is numbering. Numbering has some options where you can change the style of numbering here. You can also change the list level or define new formats. If you are doing an outline for a class, they have some outline list. After you go through the different types of numbering and bullets, on the side you can decrease or increase the indent. Basically, by clicking these, it moves it in and out. Your next feature is sort. You actually have the option of sorting text that you have highlighted. You can do ascending or descending. Ascending is alphabetical order, descending is reverse. So if I sort it by ascending, it puts it in alphabetical order. If I sort it in descending, it puts it in the reverse order. Over here are your justifications, or your alignment tabs. You can align left, which is the default. You can center align. You can right align. It's the same thing we did when we went into the paragraph dialog box and we did alignment here. These are just quicker tools. This sets your paragraph and line spacing. So if you clicked in, this next one sets your line spacing and paragraph. So you can click in here. Notice I didn't have to highlight anything. I just clicked in and I can choose 1.15, 1.5 line space, 2, 2.5, 3. Or you can go into options and set specific options. Again, that just brings up the dialog box. Over here, we have where you can add shading to a paragraph. If you clicked in the paragraph, it will shade the entire paragraph, whatever you choose. You don't have to highlight the paragraph, because if you only highlight part of it, it only shades the part you highlight. Notice the difference when I highlighted and shaded there as to when I just click in the paragraph and highlight. This just highlights what I chose. This highlights everything in the paragraph. Be careful, that's where a lot of mistakes are made. If it tells you to highlight the paragraph, you need to click in it and make sure everything is chosen. The same thing works when you are doing a box around it or putting borders. If I just highlight and tell it to put a border around, it puts borders around each sentence. If I click in and tell it to put borders around, it puts borders around the entire paragraph. Be careful about those two options. You can get to a borders and shaders dialog box because there are some other things you can do. If you're doing a border, you have different weights you can use. You have different colors you can choose. You even have different styles you can choose. Again, it's a difference. You just want it when you're putting a paragraph border on it or shading, you just want to click in the paragraph. The other paragraph tools we have are under layout. Those deal mainly with spacing before and after and left and right. We can click here. If we change the spacing here, everything in that paragraph moves for the spacing. If we're doing the right side, same idea. Everything in that paragraph moves and indents from the right. We also have the option of putting spacing before and spacing after. Notice how when I click in there, everything before and after moves. And it gives you more space between each paragraph. One more thing. We're going to go back to our other document. In the Layout tab, you need to go into the Page Setup. And just as we changed the horizontal, the alignment on the line, you can change the vertical alignment. You would click on Page Setup, the dialog box, go into Layout, and about the middle of the page, there is a vertical alignment. It changes everything on the page, so it centers things on the page. If I do center, it will center everything that I've typed from the top and bottom. If I want, I can put it on the bottom. Now everything's going to type up from the bottom. If I do justified, that spreads it out evenly from the top and bottom. Notice how it's the same amount of space on the top and bottom. Everything's been spread out. The default is top. But remember, this is a vertical alignment. If you're on the page, vertical means you're up and down. Horizontal means you're going across. A couple of things to remember if you're doing this. Show/hide non-print characters. You may or may not want that on sometimes when you're editing. The other thing to remember is you have other underline styles, and you can go to more underline to find different styles that you are looking for if it's asking for a specific style.